It's interesting, I had a look at that green Empacher that the Swiss from Grasshopper-Club are using. Beautiful little dinky rudder in carbon embedded in the fin, just the smallest of rudders, and it's Josh Mayer, the rower closest to you in the Zurich boat on the right of your picture, who will be hoping to use as little of that rudder as possible down the course.
I remember in sailing we called that a trim tab, a little rudder on the back of the fin.
Go!
The Zurich have really impressed me through the regatta, Greg, and they're going to be very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah, I think you're right, and they've got away to a fantastic start there. We see the Zurich club on the right. I think they've moved away really quite smoothly, and they've done a nice job of steering up this first tricky bit of the island, where we often see the crews get pushed out towards the middle. They've done a good job. Worried slightly about Upper Thames, getting really tight on their station, but they're the local men. They train on this stretch of water every day, so they'll know it really well, and they've now got a great line on the inside.
Well, that's the Swiss boys from Zurich, coached by Thomas Böhm, head coach of the German Paralympic team. Of course, the Paralympics happening in Rio in September. If you're worried and a local supporter that Upper Thames are down, don't be. Yesterday in the semi-final against Sport Imperial, they were down by a third of the length. And then they had a fantastic middle section of the course, Greg, and really came through. So this race is playing out, I think, as we might have expected. Fast start from the Swiss.
Yeah, the Swiss still at about 40 strokes a minute. They've come out the top of that island where the shelter was. Now there's a few more bumps on the water, and they're trying to get into a sustainable pace. But if we look across the Upper Thames crew, to me they look like they're just settling, as you say, settling a bit earlier. They want to make sure they stay in contact now. Otherwise, this crew from Zurich, the Grasshopper-Club, will try to start edging away. But I think they've held the move, and it looks like there's nothing in it. If anything, Upper Thames now just starting to inch back. Yeah,
they've had fantastic success as a club, Upper Thames, coached, of course, by Justin Sutherland. They had that magic year in 2014 where they won this event, beating Tideway Scullers, and they won the Britannia too. And, of course, the man on the Upper Thames boat on the far left, the stroke man, Jake Davison, was in that boat that won the Britannia. He's got so much experience on this course, training with Upper Thames and winning at Henley. Raced in the Visitors Challenge Cup for intermediate Cox's Fours last year, a higher standard event than this. So he's going to be cool, calm and collected, whatever the circumstances, Greg.
That's right, cool, calm and collected is what you need. And like you say, these Upper Thames boys have got good experience now. It's really interesting to see the way they've come to form now as a club, really consistently delivering, consistently putting together Henley winning crews. And they'll be really hoping on their home water that they'll give their home crowd something massive to cheer about. And I think that middle part of the race is where they're going to have to hang on to the Grasshopper-Club and not let them slip away.
So it's Zurich, Switzerland, the Grasshopper-Club on the left of your screen. If you're watching us in Switzerland, it's your boys that have had the early lead. I think they'll be under pressure from the crew on the right from Upper Thames. The local club, the Boathouse, will turn up on the right-hand side of the course in just a few strokes' time. But the Swiss boys are the less experienced. 3 of them in the Swiss crew that came 9th in the Junior World Championships in Rio last year. I mean, they are youngsters, and they've gone out fearlessly, Greg.
They are youngsters, but I think they've taken it on, and sometimes that flush of youth, knowing you can do anything. You take on the world, and they're ready to take on the world here. And I know they're trying out for the under-23 team for Switzerland. They haven't made that team yet. They had a tough race yesterday, and that will have hardened them up against the Tideway Scullers. Very unfortunate to have been put out. I know that within that Tideway Scullers crew, most of them have made the final of this event and still not won it. So they're very disappointed to go out as we see the crews coming through. And it's that Zurich Grasshopper-Club who, to me, still have a slight lead at Forley, but I think Upper Thames have started coming back already.
Both these crews have had really tough races yesterday, you know, and you've got to have, you know, 2 or 3 really sort of very tight races in your system and be able to cope with that to win this Wyfold event. It's really tight racing, Greg.
That's right, and they're coming past the Upper Thames Club right now. They'll be getting a massive roar, and hopefully that will help them deal with that fatigue that you're talking about. That this event, it had 32 entries at the beginning, so they've raced every day since Wednesday. And like you said, they've been tough races. They're going to feel that in their legs now, and they're going to need that home crowd support. There's now going to start coming down, raining down on the Upper Thames crew, and Grasshopper are trying to respond to that themselves.
So there's the Upper Thames Club. You can see it, Upper Thames Rowing Club, just on the bank there, and you can hear the shouts of the massed club members shouting for their boys. But I tell you what, Greg, those Zurich boys have just got, I don't know, 2 or 3 centimetres of extra length. They sort of rotate round a little bit longer, and they're pushing their blades for longer in the water.
Yeah, well, we know that rowing is a combination of rowing long and rowing powerfully, and then you could take more strokes. But like you say, a longer stroke gets you more distance per stroke. So let's have a look now. Look how we see them really sliding all the way up. So your bum slides all the way up to your heels, giving you that extra bit of length that they do so nicely.
Josh Mayer, he's been racing every race with his cap behind him, the 19-year-old. His fellow junior world champion Nick Camber behind him.
And you can see those straws they've got that mark the length for them. There's a little yellow straw that each man has. They're just going out of shot, so he might have lost that one now. That's probably marking the angle for them. It looks to me like they could be coming almost as far as 60 degrees around the rigger. That makes for a really long stroke.
Tom Burmer, the coach of the German Paralympic team, has set that up, and we were talking about the length of the Swiss crew. He's obviously seen that's really important. And I think what sets them up for that length, Greg, is that they've got a lot of time off the back turn. They just come forward loosely and fluidly.
Yeah, that's right. So it's actually a relaxation that comes out so that they can keep the power going through the stroke. As we see them coming through now, you might just catch a glimpse of those marks as they come through. They're reaching out, reaching to that straw, getting their big long distance forward, and then, as you say, they leave the arms straight, they push the boat forwards, and then they relax on the way forward.
So the man in the two-seat, well, the other man with his cap back, Jake Blankenberger, fourth in the men's single in the World Championship, Junior World Championships of 2014, 2 years ago. He's the oldest, not quite 20 in the boat, but I would guess the most powerful in the two-seat. And, you know, he's going to be putting a lot down when they're under pressure from Upper Thames. Zurich on the left of your screen, Upper Thames on the right. Yeah,
and Upper Thames really need to make something happen now. It could be too little too late if they're not careful. I've got them coming up towards 40 strokes a minute, but Grasshopper responding to that as well. Grasshopper might be getting a bit cheeky here and looking to let the boat slide towards the middle of the course. I can see Richard Phelps in the following boat will be thinking about whether to raise the flag and just steer them across, keep them on their station, because they're just trying to close this one out and make sure they're sending that little bit of dirty water onto the Upper Thames boat, which they're doing very nicely.
Alois Merkt in the bow seat. He's on the right of your picture. He stroked that Swiss Junior 4. He's looked round twice, first to his left, then to his right, to see where the finish is. They're hurting, Greg.
They are hurting. In fact, I look at those straws. They're not quite getting to the full length. They're not quite getting all the way out to the straw now. You shorten up. Maybe you do that deliberately to get the rate, but they've done enough in this one.
Great performance from the Zurich crew. Grasshopper Zurich are the 2016 champions in the Wyfold Challenge Cup. They have beaten a strong crew from Upper Thames. There is Josh Mayer, the 19-year-old who stroked and steered the boat to success.